Wearing a face mask feels wrong. Maybe our body is trying to tell us something. This is a cheap but quite accurate CO2 monitoring device. Let's find out how much CO2 this young man has behind his face mask. I've placed the CO2 monitor in this plastic box and closed it with some foil. As the box fills with air from the boy's mask, we can see that the CO2 level is rising. After less than a minute, we're over 9,000 ppm, approaching 10,000. 10,000 parts per million. And now we're out of range of the monitor. Here's a young lady wearing a different type of mask. Again, the chamber is filling with the same air that she will be breathing while she's wearing that mask. Here in the time lapse, we see how the concentration is going up quickly towards 10,000, which is the limit. And from the speed it's going, we can safely assume that the real concentration is way beyond those 10,000 ppm. To dispel any doubts about my measuring, let me explain how I did this. The CO2 monitor is sensitive to water. So first of all, I have to dry the air sample. The sample tube is placed in the mask between nose and mouth, and the air is pumped out with this blue aquarium pump. The air is pumped through a spiral made from steel pipe, which I place in my freezer, and that's my condensator. Drops of water are caught in this glass. The air is reheated in a second spiral, which is immersed in boiling hot water. So we have some real nice warm and dry air going into the monitoring chamber. Here's another trial with an elderly gentleman, a different type of mask. And we just jump right ahead to almost 10,000 ppm. And as usual, it goes out of range, so we know we are way over 10,000 ppm. In the US, safe levels are decided by OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. CO2 levels between 2 and 5,000 ppm lead to headaches, sleepiness, poor concentration, loss of attention, increased heart rate, and slight nausea. In spite of these symptoms, OSHA allows 5,000 ppm of CO2 over an 8-hour workday. Now I just measured more than twice the OSHA limit for CO2 inside the face mask. Now with my simple equipment I can't establish if there's 10,000 or maybe 15 or 20,000. But the fact is there's way too much CO2 accumulating behind those masks. Greta Thunberg keeps reminding us that CO2 is bad for the climate. CO2 may be bad for the climate, but it's really bad for us, and it's bad for our kids, especially at those high concentrations that I found. In the long run, those masks will do a lot more harm than COVID itself.